Hello and welcome to Turning Veganese with AJ. Yes, Alex O'Connor. I'm yet again making a video about him. Now, a while back, I wanted to make this epic rant video against him. I was really furious because of his anti-vegan nonsense that he spews on occasion. He recently went to that in Trigonometry podcast spewing some anti-vegan nonsense, and he's done the same in a video of his, the celebrating his subscriber count. I don't know how many subscribers, and he's at it again. Some people are trying to say that no, he's actually trying to be a voice for the animals or something. I don't see it. He continues to spew anti-vegan nonsense. He could have been a great vegan activist, and he's still redeemable. I believe in him, actually. I still do, even after all the things he said, after all the things I've said about him, all the videos and all the jokes with the numquat and all that. Aside from all of that, taking all of that aside for a moment and really reflecting on everything, the problem with him, and this is the lesson that I think we can all learn, vegans and non-vegans alike, is that he was never truly vegan. And I don't mean in the sense of, the not true Scotsman fallacy. No, he was never vegan. No. He was never a vegan, really, because he never understood veganism. He was never presented with the concept, with the definition of veganism and or animal liberation. He was presented with Peter Singer's ridiculous nonsense. Peter Singer's plant-based utilitarianism that many others, so-called vegans, are actually spreading around. And that's the problem. He hung out with vegans who only talk about reducing suffering, pigs in gas chambers, airplane food, antibiotic resistance. And that's not veganism. And so that's the problem. These people like Alex O'Connor, rationality rules, destiny, what they reject is not really veganism, is a version of what someone else is trying to call veganism, but it's not. It's what I said, plant-based utilitarianism. They eat a plant-based diet mostly, and they come up with these crazy calculations to see, well, if this is more vegan than this, and if we eat one apple, or we kill one deer, or what if we do this, and crop debts, and calorie counts, and none of that is veganism. Veganism is an ethical stance against the use and exploitation of animals by humans. That's it. That's all it is. And the objective of veganism is to free the animals from us, the humans. That's it. To set them free. Give them their freedom, their liberty. That's it. That's all it is. It's really, it's an objective, it's tangible, it's achievable, it's precise, it's concise. Concise is a word? I don't know. Nothing to do with this nonsense, abstract concept of suffering and reducing suffering and cruelty and harm. But it sounds good to say. That's the problem with this reducing nonsense, that it sounds good because suffering equals bad. So who wouldn't want to reduce suffering, right? So the concept of reducing suffering sounds great, but the problem is that mindset keeps the animals as slaves, because then we start coming up with weird scenarios where it's okay in our minds, in our calculations, it's okay to use an animal a certain way Now, if they don't find out, if they're not really suffering like physically or mentally or something, who cares? Use the animal. Fool them into giving stuff to you. Yeah, take their feathers, take their eggs, take their milk. They don't want it. They're not gonna find out. They don't know what you're doing. And that's the problem, because that's not what veganism is. It's not an excuse to use animals in some other way. It's the rejection of all animal use and the acceptance of animals as individuals in this world that we share with them. So that's why Alex never really understood veganism, doesn't reject veganism, he rejects Peter Singer's nonsense. And so does Destiny and Rationality Rules and the Taint Brothers and all of those people. They don't understand veganism because they've never been presented with veganism. No one talks to them about it. Piers Morgan hasn't had a vegan actually tell him what veganism is about. That's why he continues to cry about avocados and almonds. We're not going anywhere with this. Not going anywhere. We need to make it very clear what veganism is, what veganism isn't. So these people, at least, if they're going to reject veganism, at least let them reject actual veganism and not some made up weird concept that is trying to hijack the actual one. And don't even get me started with the whole vegan society thing, because the vegan society of today, it's a freaking joke. That's it. I'm gonna say it. It's a joke. The vegan society doesn't even exist anymore. It's just some weird pamphlet with a concept, that some definition that is just absolutely trash, that gives in more confusion. That's how this Alex O'Connor got away with it. It wasn't practicable for me. That's it. And he packed his bags and left Vegan City. Came back to animal abuse in town. Yeah. Because that's it. Hey, not practicable for me. That's the definition. It says if it's practicable, do it. If it's not, don't. And for me, it isn't. So, hey, I don't have to do it. Isn't that amazing? Well, no, that's not how it works. And that's the thing. It doesn't say anything about reducing suffering or anything. That's not veganism. Now, that veganism, or in a vegan world, we can potentially reduce a vast amount, a huge amount of suffering and cruelty and harm to animals. That's true. That it benefits the environment. Yeah, it could be true too also. Yeah, sure. Those are not the objectives. Because the animals, and to understand this, you need to remove whatever you think veganism is about, but it really isn't. If you remove that aspect, you'd have to then answer yourself if removing that aspect or that component justifies enslaving animals or not. For example, what if freeing the animals from human exploitation doesn't actually benefit the environment at all? Like, it doesn't affect the environment. Let's say it doesn't. The environment doesn't, it's not better or worse. So if it doesn't benefit the environment, is it okay then to exploit animals? Do they deserve to be enslaved? Because that's the real answer that you need to give, If the answer is yes, then you're a complete psycho. The same goes for all the other stuff. If, let's say that consuming animals or not, that not consuming animals didn't have any health benefits or any health boosts or anything like that. Like eating plants doesn't do much for your organism. Let's say you're just the same, or let's say a little bit less healthy for some reason. Should that justify all this animal holocaust too? To me, there's a clear answer that no, it doesn't justify it. So that's why veganism is not about health, it's not about the environment, it's not about reducing suffering or anything, because animals in a state of freedom, they could suffer potentially, they could suffer out there in the wild where they should be. But that's not our problem. Our problem is to free them from ourselves, from these systems of exploitations that we came up with. So by granting them their freedom, we cannot guarantee that they're gonna have this awesome, like a Bruno Mars video or something, or Jamiroquai or something like that, where everything is like a party all the time and stuff. No. you cannot guarantee that. But they'll be free, and they'll be the masters of their own destiny. Just like you want to be. Just like I want to be. I don't want to be pushed around and thrown around by someone else. I don't want to be told what to do, when to do it, or how. I love my freedom. That's why I want the same for all the others. That's what I'm fighting for. And that's what you as a vegan should fight for. Forget about all this cruelty, harm nonsense. And forget about all these calculations. And really get into your head. Freedom. Well, I have been AJ. Till next time. AJ out! I'm gonna live forever.